Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best point guards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM on a tier list. Before we hop into this video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 4,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Would really appreciate your support if you haven't already, if you do subscribe. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to my boy TyDeBo for making this tier list. This tier list Evan Tanaka used as well, so shout out to him as well. And I'm excited to do this tier list ranking and give y'all my opinion. So as y'all can see, there are not as many guys on this list as often in previous lists. A lot more higher tier cards, so I'm gonna have to be a lot more selective with the way that I rank cards so that I can still fill up all 6 of these slots relatively evenly. So there are going to be some cards on this list who are decent cards who are ranked really low, like C, D, F tier, who are just still not terrible cards, but guys who just don't hold up to the level of the top few point guards in the game. And because of the fact that there's only like 25 or so point guards on this list, it's definitely going to make it a bit harder to do. But that being said, without further ado, let's hop right into it. Start off with James Harden, and I think Harden can pretty safely go in the A tier. I think you could even make an argument for him S tier. I'm sure some people would have him S tier, for example Evan and Grusty and guys like that, if y'all know those dudes. But 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan, 99 offense, 94 defense, all 5 hotspots from outside the 3-point line. Elite shooting badges, solid playmaking badges, no half quick first step, no half defensive badges, not the greatest defensive stats, but really solid on the perimeter, not elite in the interior, really solid dunker, and he has great dunks. He doesn't get blocked very much, which is super nice, and he's really solidly athletic, elite shooter. Jumper is not the fastest for a PG, but it's not slow either. It's definitely a solid jumper, and it's really easy to green. You can green a lot of lightlies with him. The fundamental dribble style, not quick or shifty, is a little bit annoying. It's just not as good as a quick or shifty. Obviously, that is one thing that holds him back, but overall, he's a great card. I think there's a chance I do wind up moving him up to the S tier, but for now I am going to, you know what, I say that I think he's S tier because he's so complete and such a good 300. Probably the worst guy I will put in S tier, but I think he is S tier nonetheless. At the top of the S tier, the best point guard in the game, my personal opinion, would be Mr. Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo is so elite. 6'6" with a 6'7" wingspan. He's got solid size, 4 out of 5 hotspots, 15 hops, including a ton of great playmaking and defensive badges. Only needs a few badges applied to him as well, like a rim protector, post lockdown, limitless spot up, blinder, chef. There are a couple badges to add, but badged out, he is the best point guard in the game. Elite perimeter defender and really solid on the interior. Like I said, playmaking and defensive badges are phenomenal. Really good slasher, shooter, athlete, has good size, shifty dribble style is nice. The Kobe size up is the best size up in the game. Pro 2 between the legs. Jumper is really smooth, super easy to green. And overall, I think he's the best point guard in the game. He gives you incredible defense and can create his own shot on offense, be an elite playmaker, elite slasher, all those things. He's a great card, and I think that the S tier is where he deserves to be. Now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I'm not entirely sure if he's a B guy or a C guy. The problem with this card is the fact that he has the slasher dribble style. That is by far the biggest flaw. 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan is really good size, 4 out of 5 hotspots, 15 hoffs, can get all the hoffs or badge-wise that he needs as well, like an interceptor or a protector, a chase down artist, a limitless spot up, blinders, things like that. So badged out, he is pretty complete. No half quick for step though, no half defensive badges, really mediocre defensive stats. Offensive stats are solid. He's a good enough shooter. Jumper is decent. Slasher dribble style though does hurt the card, and the fact that he doesn't have elite playmaking or defensive badges, like no quick first step. Otherwise, playmaking badges are really good, but no half quick first step. No elite defensive badges. Not really any elite shooting badges besides catch and shoot either. He's a good card. He's not a great card. He's not a top tier PG. I think B or C tier is fair for him. I might even wind up moving him down, but for now, we will put him in the B tier. At the S tier as well is Jalen Rose. These are the 3 best PGs in the game, in my personal opinion. Lonzo, Jalen Rose, and James Harden, probably in that order. And Rose is 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan, so he's got really incredible size at the PG position. 4 out of 5 hotspots from outside the 3-point line. 15 hops include catch, corner, bailout, bullet passer, unpluckable, hot zone hunter, some solid finishing badges as well. He is another card who needs a lot of badges: chef, limitless, sniper, rim protector, post lockdown, intimidator, chase down, ball stripper. There's like 8 badges you'd want to put on this card, and he only has 6 badge slots, so you're going to have to pick and choose just a bit. But I just think he's a much better Penny Hardaway. Really solid defender on the perimeter and the interior. Like I said, has elite size, 85 driving dunk as well, with good dunk animations, 88 shot 3. Not the fastest card in the world, but again, at 6'8", especially with how good his movement is, he is great. Quick dribble style is phenomenal as well. Pro 5 behind the back, so he's got a good full court stick there. Jumper is nice and fast, really easy to green. Overall, he does everything on the court at a super high level, gives you elite defensive versatility. He is a phenomenal card, in my opinion, the second best PG in the game, and that's an S tier guy for me. Kyrie, I think also slots in at the B tier. Not a bad card, just a bit undersized. He is totally free. I know a lot of people are running this card. He is 6'3" with a 6'4" wingspan, so that's not incredible size. 4 out of 5 hotspots, 15 hoffs, include Limitless Sniper, Quick First Step, Ankle Breaker, Quick Chain, Chef, Deadeye Catch. Like good badges. Again, not a lot of defensive badges though. Needs badges like Rim Protector, Intimidator, Brick Wall, Post Lockdown, and he is undersized. Not a great interior defender. Not a great slasher, although he can dunk the ball, but he is nice and fast. Really good shooter. Jumper is not the fastest, even on quick timing. Kyrie jumper is just not super fast, but his movement is elite. His sigs are phenomenal, which is super nice. He moves very, very well in the half court. And overall, I think Kyrie is a great 300. I don't think he is a good enough defender or slasher to be any higher than the B tier, and even the B tier honestly feels a little bit generous, so we may have to do a little bit of adjustment and move him down just a bit, but for now we'll put him in the B tier. And Monte Ellis. The problem with Monte is he has a tiny player build. I want to put him in C tier because he is so small. Statistically, he's good, but he's 6'3" with a 6'2" wingspan, not tall in terms of his player build, and the wingspan is really, really short, so that hurts. Hotspots from almost everywhere, 15 hoffs, and they're good hoffs like Sniper, Mismatch, Ankle Breaker, Hyperdrive, Quick Chain, Quick First Step, solid finishing badges. Statistically, he's incredibly fast, really good shooter, really good slasher, good perimeter defender, but he is terrible on the interior. No Hall of Fame defensive badges, doesn't get Rim Protector or Post Lockdown, which are two important badges to help counteract the bigger PGs. Jumper is elite. Movement is really solid. The flaw with this card is the fact that he is so undersized, does not have a good player build, and is not a good enough defender. Those are significant flaws, and that puts him in C tier for me personally. Jeremy Lin, I think, is probably B tier. Just a solid budget PG option. Not the best budget PG in the game, but definitely a really solid option. 6'3" with a 6'6", so he's got a better player build and better length than a guy like Monte Ellis. Hotspots from 4 out of 5 spots, 10 hoffs, include a bunch of defensive hoffs as well as catch and shoot, floor general, and then like I said, clamps, intimidator, menace, pick dodger, and pickpocket. Can get the rim protector, chase down, or just post lockdown, brick wall, limitless spotter, so you can get the key badges he needs. 95 speed and excel is really good. He's a great slasher, nice shooter, really good defensive card. And jump shot 40, again, not the best jumper. I compare it kind of to Kyrie's jumper, which is a little bit on the slow side for a PG, but he does have good movement with the pro 3 behind the back and pro 2 between the legs, which are the best full court dribble sigs in the game. Shifty dribble style and Kobe size up as well. His movement is great. If the jumper was better, I think you could argue he's A tier. Because I don't love the jumper and he is still that little bit undersized, I think B tier is where he goes, but he's definitely a solid card at the B tier. Ben Simmons, I think, is A tier just because of how big he is. Ben is 6'11" with a 7-foot wingspan. No hot shots out to the 3-point line, only a 62 shot 3, no shooting badges as well. But if you're wide open, you can green with him. He is definitely a good enough catch and shoot shooter where you can knock them down. Elite defender and playmaker, though. Hop, quick first step, clamps, interceptor, menace, pickpocket, ball stripper. Doesn't get rim protector, handles for days, quick chain. Like, there are some badges that you wish he got, shooting badges as well. But he is an incredible defensive point guard, the best defensive point guard in my team because of his elite size, elite stats, really good perimeter ability. Even the brick wall and rim protector not being added is just kind of negated by the fact that he is so big at PG. He's an incredible slasher as well, the best slashing PG in the game, and solid athleticism. Jumper is nice. Like I said, really low 3-point rating. It is tough to make shots with him, but if you can green him, he is going to knock those down. And the power dribble style is not great, but he does have a good full court sig, and the Kawhi behind the back, the Kobe size up is nice. And he's just such an incredible defender and slasher that I think it makes up for his slight playmaking and shooting inadequacies. And for that reason, I think he is an A tier guy. Allen Iverson, I'm putting in D tier because I literally just think he's a worse version of Monte Ellis. I think this card stinks. Some people disagree with me, but he's 6 foot with a 6'3" wingspan and a tiny player build. Hot shots from everywhere, 14 hoffs, which is nice. He's got hoff glance, ball stripper, pickpocket, handles, quick first step, ankle breaker, mismatch sniper. Stat-wise, incredible on the perimeter defensively, dunking, shooting, speed, all that. The problem with this card is the fact that he has a 57 block and a 49 interior. He's literally free mashed every single possession. He's tiny, and the jumper is good. The move sigs are decent. They're not like jump off the page amazing. Jumper is really good though, but the problem is he is just too dang small. When you are this small and don't have any sort of interior defense or block rating, that is going to kill a card. He's a free bucket when you're playing against him with any sort of point guard with any sort of reasonable size, and for that reason, I just simply can't put him higher than D tier. Larry Hughes is probably B tier, similar to a guy like Jeremy Lin, another super solid budget PG option. He is 6'5" as well at PG, which is nice. 6'8" wingspan, hot shots in 3 out of 5 spots. All defensive badges, ankle braces, ball stripper, clamps, interceptor, menace, and pickpocket. Can get a rim protector, handles for days, limitless spot up, sniper as well. Elite defender on the perimeter and really solid on the interior. Dunks the ball decently. Solid enough speed, excel and speed with ball, and a solid shooter as well. Jumper on is jump shot 84 on quick as well, which is a nice jumper. same jumper as guys like Evan Mobley, Tyrese Maxey, and Emmanuel quickly have, and the shifty dribble style, so he's got solid half-court sigs as well. Just a card who overall does not do much bad on the court, can defend at a very high level, create his own shot a bit, slash a bit, has decent size. He's a good card, really nice budget card, not an incredible elite option, so for that reason, I'm not going to put him any higher than the B tier, but he's definitely a super solid card. Ben Gordon, I think C tier is fair for him, just a little bit less size than a guy like Larry Hughes, a little bit less defense. 6'3" with a long wingspan, which is nice, hot shots from everywhere. 10 hops, but they're all basically playmaking and shooting badges like catch, deadeye, sniper, quick first step, unpluckable, quick chain. All nice badges, pickpocket as well, but he needs a bunch of defensive badges like a chase down artist, menace, post lockdown, rim protector, brick wall. Not the best defensive stats either, especially for an undersized PG. Not the greatest dunker, but not bad. Really nice and fast though, with a good jumper and a high 3-point rating. Jump shot 22 on quick is great. Quick dribble style as well with the pro 2 between the legs. So he's got good half court and full court sigs. The problem with him, undersized, not an elite defender. Those are significant flaws at this point in the game, especially when you're going to be undersized. You need elite defensive stats, and he just doesn't have that, and his size is not good enough to make up for that. So I think he fits in a similar category with Monte Ellis, where he's a great offensive card but too limited defensively to be higher than C tier. Bob Sura, I'll put in B tier, even though he's not as statistically good as a guy like Ben Gordon, because he's taller, 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, hops for 4 out of 5 spots. 6 hops include posterizer, catch, downhill, quick first step, and pogo stick. Defensive stats are slightly better than Ben Gordon's as well, which helps in addition to his size. Does need badges still, like a ball stripper, rim protector, brick wall, post lockdown, limitless spot up. Like, he needs 5 badges and has those 5 badge slots, so you're going to want to badge him out if you still want to use this card. But he's got solid speed, really good slasher, gets really great dunk animations, really nice jumper as well as jump shot 38, even on normal, is super nice, and shifty dribble style is solid as well. So he's got solid movement and elite slasher, good size, solid enough defender. He's better than a guy like Ben Gordon, so I think B tier is probably the fair spot to put him. Donovan Mitchell, is Donovan Mitchell an A tier PG? Because the problem with Donovan Mitchell is he's not for me. I'm sorry, and I'm going to move SGA down as well, because slasher dribble style kills a card for me personally, especially with his stats not being crazy. I like Donovan Mitchell a lot. He's just only 6'1". Again, it's a significant flaw. When you're that small, it's hard to rank you high, even with the long wingspan. 4 out of 5 hotspots, 15 hops, including good ones, clamps, quick first step, ankle braces, pogo stick, catch, deadeye, mismatch, fast switch, posterizer, unstrippable. Elite defensive stats on the perimeter, solid enough on the interior, really good speed, dunking, shooting. Everything about this card is nice besides the height, but that's just such a big flaw. Jump shot 4 on normal, not the fastest jumper in the world, but it's nice and easy to green, so it works. Shifty dribble style, good sigs. I mean, he's solid. He's another solid card. The problem with a card like this, though, is he doesn't play enough defense, and that is such a big flaw. He's a B tier guy because he's really, really great offensively, but if you just don't have the size, you're going to struggle significantly. For me, Donovan Mitchell is just one of those cards who's not good enough defensively. Baron Davis, I'm putting an F tier. I think he arguably is the worst, or one of the worst couple players on this list. 6'3" with a 6'5" wingspan, so doesn't have elite size. Statistically is solid, but not good on the interior. Badge-wise is solid as well, but here's the problem. At 6'3" with base dribble style, which is one of the worst dribble styles in the game, he doesn't have the movement, size, or defense, and those are 3 significant flaws. Despite having a good release, solid badges, and stats, he is just so flawed because he can't move at a high level. He can't create his own shot. He can't create shots for his teammates. He's not going to have the size or defensive stats to be an elite defender. Unfortunately, you got to put a couple guys in F tier, and I think Baron Davis is one of those guys on this list. LaMelo Ball, I think probably A tier. I think he definitely is an A tier guy. Super solid PG option still. Has good size at 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan. Hot spots from 4 out of 5 spots. 10 hops include catch, deadeye, sniper, bullet passer, dimer, hyperdrive, and interceptor, which is 6'6", is nice. Defensive stats don't jump off the page at you, but he does have solid size. Can get rim protector, post lockdown, intimidator, brick wall. Shooting badges are already really good, as well as his playmaking badges. Decent dunker, decent speed, excel, shot 3. The problem with the thing that I think a lot of people disagree with, for me personally, is that stats are not as important as badges and size, in my personal opinion. If you have solid stats and elite badges and elite size, you're going to be better than the guys with elite stats, but mediocre badges or size or animations or things like that. And LaMelo, despite having slasher, has a really, really nice jumper, is an elite defender with the Hall of Fame interceptor. Movement is good besides slasher. And I think some people are going to disagree with me putting LaMelo in A tier, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in C tier. But I think LaMelo does a lot of things better than Shai. Really across the board, I don't think there's anything Shai does better than LaMelo. I just think he's a much better option at that PG position, so I think he's A tier. Derrick Rose, I think, is the best small PG in the game. There is one significant flaw with him outside of his size, which is the fact that he has one of the fastest jumpers in the game off the catch and off a basic quick stop. But when he gets a load up, it becomes one of the slower jumpers in the game, which makes his timing on a load up very, very hard to time, very hard to adjust to, and that is very annoying. But 15 hops, hot spots from almost everywhere. He does have a 6'8" wingspan as a solid player build. Hoff quick first step, ankle braces, clamps, and mismatch expert, a bunch of great finishing badges, elite stats in terms of speed, dunking, solid shooting, as well as decent enough defense. Not the greatest in the world, but he does have a better player build than a lot of the other smaller PGs, and is so elite offensively, especially with his really fast jumper. Even on normal timing, Derrick Rose jumper is super fast and really easy to green. Quick dribble style is the best dribble style in the game. The Kobe size up, the D-Rose size up, signature size up is the best signature size up in the game as well, and he's the only card in the game that currently has it, which is super, super nice. And overall, D-Rose is a beast. He's an incredible slasher as well, and just overall, besides being small, doesn't have significant flaws, and I think that deserves to be an A tier guy for me personally. Chris Paul, again, he's better than a guy like Allen Iverson. I think I can put him in B tier because defensive stats and badges wise, he is super solid, but he's another one of those six foot point guards, and that just kills a card for me personally. He does have a 6'4" wingspan, which isn't the worst. Hotspots from everywhere. 15 hoffs include like a lot of really good hoffs. Some of those takeoff, post drives, or catch, limitless, sniper, mismatch, quick first step, ball stripper, clamps, interceptor, menace, pickpocket. Really elite dunker as well because he's a glitched card and can dunk the ball, which obviously Chris Paul can't in real life. He's a really good defender, even decent on the interior, elite shooter, speed. Statistically, badge wise, this card is incredible. Unfortunately, he's only 6 foot tall. Jumper is nice though. Chris Paul, at least on quick, is good, and his sigs are super nice. CP3 sigs are great. The Pro 5 behind the back is super nice as well. And overall, he's a great card who is just undersized. Similarly to a guy like Donovan Mitchell, I just think he gives you more defensively than Mitchell, so I'm just going to, although I put them both in B tier because they're too undersized despite the fact having elite sigs and stats and animations, all those things. I just think you can't put a guy who's that small higher than B tier for me personally in the way that I like to play the game. We're getting to a lot of B tier guys. Ja Morant is just yet another guy who I just think, is Ja B or I think Ja has to be B tier. I'm not the highest on him, but I think he, compared to the other guys in B tier, is right on the same level as them. 6'3" with a 6'7" wingspan, hotspots from basically everywhere, 15 hoffs, including a ton of finishing badges, catch, limitless, mismatch, sniper, quick first step, and clamps. Really good perimeter defender, but interior wise is mediocre at best. Doesn't get rim protector, which does hurt. He's an elite slasher though, really fast, solid shooter. PG release on normal isn't the fastest jumper in the world. Again, I'd compare it to guys like Harden, Kyrie, where the jumper isn't crazy fast, but it's not slow either. Shifty dribble style, Kobe size, up profile behind the back, so his movement is good. The fact of the matter is he's not an incredible defender, and that does hurt because I think most of the guys on this list are either better defenders or have better sigs than Ja, but he is solid and he does have really good stats and badges, so I think B tier is still probably a fair place to put a guy like Ja Morant. Gilbert Arenas is going to be, you know what? The jumper sucks and the movement sucks and he's undersized. Gilbert Arenas is an F tier card. I'm sorry. I think he's just terrible. Despite having great stats and badges, he just is so bad on the animation side of the thing and is small at only 6'3". 94 speed excel, 95 shot 3, like defensive stats are solid. Defensive badges, even has Hoff clamps and a lot of goals, but doesn't get rim protector, post lockdown, chase down artist, brick wall because he is an Evo card. No Hoff quick first step. Shooting badges are great, but here's the thing. Base dribble style again on a PG is disgusting. Jump shot 11 even on quick is just a super, super gross jumper, one of the worst jumpers in the game. So he has bad movement, a bad jumper, and is undersized. That is the key for an F tier card for me personally, so I'm just not going to put him any higher than the F tier. Russell Westbrook I think is C tier. I know he's a dark matter, and I know he's the only dark matter point guard in the game right now, but he's not very good. Only 6'3", hot shots 4 out of 5 spots, 20 hoffs. His stats and badges are incredible. Elite defender, elite athlete, elite shooter, elite dunker. Everything about this card is great. The flaw again, when you have a small point guard who has not a great dribble style, he has slasher dribble style, I believe, and his jumper isn't super fast either. Those are big flaws when you don't have an elite jumper as a small guy and you don't have really good movement. His stats and badges are incredible and his jumper isn't terrible, so that does save him from being any lower than C tier, and he obviously is a dark matter, so he's incredible. But incredible in terms of stats and badges, but unfortunately animations are huge in this game, and that's a big flaw for a guy like Russell Westbrook, so I can't put him higher than C tier. Gary Payton is not as small as a guy like Russell Westbrook and does have better movement, which is nice, so I'll put him in A tier. 6'4" with a 6'7" wingspan. I just think Gary Payton is so overrated this year, unfortunately. Hot shots from everywhere is nice. 20 hoffs, including a ton of elite defensive badges, as well as Hoff quick first step, unpluckable, finishing badges. Doesn't need many badges as well, like a blinders, rim protector, rebound chaser, brick walls, about it. Limitless spot up. But defensive stats are obviously insane on the perimeter. really good on the interior, but he is only 6'4", doesn't have the craziest of player builds, and the jumper is that same base 40, which is a little bit slow, not the greatest jumper in the world. Movement is solid though, best full court sigs in the game, Kobe size up, shifty dribble style, so that is definitely nice. And he definitely has incredible stats and badges as well. He is a much better card than a guy like Russell Westbrook, but I still don't think he's quite good enough to be in the S tier for me personally. So we're going to go A tier with Gary Payton, despite him being a dark matter as well. Damian Lillard plays no defense, and that is a significant flaw. Thankfully for him, he has solid movement and a really good jumper, but he is another one of those guys who's super undersized, 6'2", decent wingspan, terrible defensive stats though, especially at this point in the year. Badges are horrible defensively as well. That is such a significant flaw. The one thing he does have going for him, his movement is pretty good, jumper is elite. He's just a better, significantly better offensive Baron Davis because he has much better movement, and that saves him from being down in the F tier, despite the fact that he is a horrendous defender. So I think D tier is a fair spot to put a guy like Damian Lillard. Darius Garland, I think is probably C tier because he's only 6'1". That honestly goes for his Opal as well, which isn't even on this list. The Opal is better, but he's only 6'1" with a 6'1" wingspan, so he's just too undersized. Doesn't have a good interior ability at all. Not an elite dunker. Defensive badges are mediocre at best. He's a great shooter, great offensive card. He has the same type of sigs as Damian Lillard as well, with the same jumper, the quick dribble style, the Kobe size up. Full court sigs aren't great, but he's so undersized that despite being an elite offensive card, I think he's C tier, similar to a guy like Monte Ellis and Ben Gordon, who are also really good offensive cards, but undersized and not great defenders. So better than a guy like Dame, still C tier for me personally. Fred VanVleet, I think, goes into the D tier as well because he's another one of those guys who's just super undersized, doesn't do anything insane on the offensive end of the court. 6'1" with a 6'2" wingspan, hops from everywhere outside the three-point line, but only 10 hops, mediocre interior defensive ability, undersized, needs a lot of badges like blinders, handles, can't get ball stripper, needs chase honors, rim protector, post lockdown, menace, pickpocket, pogo stick. Too many badges needed on this card as well. You can't give him all the badges he needs. Again, not a great slasher, not a great interior defender, too undersized, not the fastest card for a shorter guy as well, at only 93 speed sweep ball on Excel, which would be much more acceptable on a taller guy, but for a guy who's only 6'1", that does hurt. Movement is nice, quick dribble style, Kobe sides up, Giannis release is good even on normal, but when you're undersized and not a great defender, that's a significant flaw, and I think that puts him in D tier because he's not as good of a slasher and offensive card overall as the guy in C tier, as the guys in C tier. So that, for me personally, puts him down in the D tier. John Wall, I think, is another guy who's D tier. He's better defensively and slashing wise than most of the other guys in the D tier, but unfortunately for him, he has the slasher. No, he has the base dribble style as well, which is really bad. Jumper is nice though. I do like John Wall's jumper. He is nice and fast, a good shooter, a good dunker. Shooting badges are solid. You can upgrade his limitless spot up. He only needs a few defensive badges, but they're only gold defensive badges. And he does have really poor interior defense. The thing that saves him is the fact that he is 6'4" and has a really good player build. He looks taller than 6'4", which is super nice and does help him out on the defensive end of the court. Also, his defensive tendencies are really nice. 94 on ball steal and 90 pass interception tendencies are really good. So the fact that he plays bigger than his size is huge for him. Despite still having a poor dribble style, I think he's better than the guys in F tier because he's much better defender than them and a better slasher. So I think for me, that makes him go from an F tier to a D tier type of guy. Magic Johnson, in all honesty, the only reason that I'm putting him in the C tier is because he's 6'9", because this card does nothing else well in the court, in my personal opinion. But when you're that tall, you still deserve to be in the C tier because of your mashing versatility and the fact that you're going to be a decent defender because of your size and how important size is defensively this year. No 3-point hotspots. 10 hops is nice, but he needs a ton of badges, shooting badges like limitless sniper, blinders, as well as a ton of defensive badges, the ankle braces, clamps, interceptor, intimidator, rim protector, pogo stick, post lockdown. Way too many badges, so he's not going to be complete badge-wise. Defensively, mediocre at best, but he is 6'9", which is nice. Decent speed as well, and does have the fundamental dribble style, which isn't bad for a 6'9" player. His jumper is really slow though, statistically and badge wise, not a great card. When we get a better Magic, he does definitely have the potential to be a top point guard in my team, but this Magic is too outdated and just not good enough in the stats and badge area for me to put him higher than the C tier. Penny, I'm legitimately tempted to go B or A tier. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I think I'm one of the highest people on Penny in the entire community. I love Penny, even though he is a bit limited statistically, not the craziest jump off the page, but he's a solid athlete, has good size, nice dunker, solid shooter, not the worst defender. Missing badges like limitless spot up, quick chain, and clamps does hurt, but he can get a ball stripper, rebound chaser, rim protector, post lockdown, intimidator, which is nice, as well as getting the sniper badge, and has super solid playmaking, a really good sigs as well with the quick dribble style. I compare Penny to a worse versus Jalen Rose because jumper isn't as good as Jalen Rose. He doesn't do anything as good as Jalen Rose, but he has solid movement, good size, is a decent defender despite not getting clamps. When he's open, he's going to knock down his open shots. Movement is really good in the half court and the full court with the profile behind the back and his SIGs being solid. And overall, he has decent speed, can dunk. Overall, just a great card. I feel like he really does play better than the stats and badges say, and I think that's the type of guy that I still would like to run over basically anybody lower than him. So for me, that's still an A-tier card for Penny Hardaway. And then finally, we have Steph Curry, who... I don't know where I put Steph, honestly. Like this Steph and obviously the All-Star Steph, who's not on this list, are basically the same card. They're very, very similar. I think I can put him in the A tier. He is 6'3" with a decent-ish player build, not the longest of wingspans, with hotspots from everywhere. 14 Haas. He is the best shooting card in the game. Absolutely knocked down with incredible badges. Decent perimeter defender as well, but he's missing some badges on the perimeter, which does hurt. Undersized, not a great interior defender, not a great dunker. SIGs are really nice. He has the Curry slide, only card in the game with the Curry slide. Elite jumper, really nice half court and full court SIGs. I'm sorry, I can't put him in the A tier. He's just not a good enough defender for me to put him in the A tier. Besides that, one of the best offensive cards in the game despite his not incredible slashing ability. And overall, I think Steph does deserve to be in the B tier. He's just not quite good enough to be in the A tier for me personally. So as y'all can see, this is my point guard tier list right now. I do think the point guard, honestly, is a bit top heavy with guys like Lonzo and Jalen. I feel like standing out from the rest of the guys. And then we have a lot of mediocre options like the guys in the B and the C tier. So I'm interested to see if we get a lot of good point guards in season 5, because if we get some really good point guard options, like for example an Opal Penny with a better release, Opal Magic, other tall point guards like an improved LaMelo or a Cade that can play point guard, or Luka that can play point guard, or a better Ben Simmons, things like that, it could definitely change up the point guard position a lot. But for now, not the strongest position in the game, but definitely has some elite top end guys like Lonzo and Jalen Rose. So hopefully this video did help you out, help you to rank your point guards and figure out what the type of guys that you want to be upgrading to are if you're looking to upgrade your point guard position. And if this video did help you out, or if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back over 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.